What's going on, everyone? Welcome into another episode of Luttie's Look Back. My name is Nick Luttrell. We've got a jam-packed baseball and a little bit of softball heavy show, and it'll be a shorter show, but it is compact. So I'm excited to get to all of the action. Let's start my show how we always do with my three big things, and we'll talk three big things for Arkansas baseball. You see them behind me. The first one, resilience led to the comeback wins for the Razorbacks. The second one, the change of the lineup has really worked. And then the third one, so the Hogs are good again, and I'll get to that point at the very end. But if you're unfamiliar, Arkansas goes on the road this past weekend in the baseball world. They take down number 8 Alabama, three straight games. I mean, it's a sweep. It's something Arkansas has only done once this season. The very beginning of the season, they swept, not Stetson, because they lost 2-2 to Stetson. Oh, I forgot who they played to start the season. Portland State, maybe? It was one of those small teams. It didn't really matter that it was a sweep. That was the only sweep that Arkansas had all season long until this game. And they go on the road, a top 10 team. They get a 7-5 win on Friday night, a 15-6 win on Saturday night, and then Sunday afternoon a 3-2 win. It was what the doctor ordered. This team has been struggling, and there's been obvious concern. And I think there still is some of those concerns, but you just feel a little bit better after going on the road to a top 10 team and beating them 3 times in a row. And this was a top 10 team that had won 18 straight games at home, I think. It was something like that. They only lost once the entire year at home. And they're one of the hottest teams in SEC. And Arkansas went in there and beat them 3 straight times and beat them pretty handily, especially on Saturday in that 15-6 win. But that's kind of the overview of how the weekend went for the Razorbacks. If you're just kind of checking in to, hey, basketball season is over. We're transitioning to baseball season now, and Arkansas is, I'm sure when the new poll comes out, they'll be ranked a little bit higher. They'll probably be 15th, I'm guessing. Right now, they're 22nd as of this recording on Monday, but on Sunday, I should say, after all the games. But this Arkansas baseball team was, preseason top 8 team, just like they were last year and that they have been. So they're projected to go to the College World Series. People expect them to make it back to Omaha. It's a really hard thing to do. And just this year, it's just been up and down. And a lot more downs than we're used to as Razorback fans. So maybe you're tuning in kind of back into baseball. Maybe you've been watching them all season long, but wanted to give a little bit of that analysis before I went on to kind of my 3 big things as we get into more of the specifics of this game. Let's talk about them. Resiliency was what led Arkansas to this win. That's my first big point. Let's go through each game, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, they're down 3-1 in the 8th inning. They were 6 outs away from losing the first game. Wasn't looking great. Then they scored 6 runs in that 8th inning, went on to win 7-5. On Saturday, they were also down 3-1 in the 5th inning, so not quite as concerning. But then they scored 10 runs in the 8th and the 9th inning. They went on to win 15-6. Sunday, they were down 2-0 in the 6th inning. They didn't score a single run. They weren't looking amazing. And then they just kind of fished their way around and got some runs. Had more opportune hits when it mattered most compared to Alabama. I think Alabama in that Sunday game might have finished with more hits than the Razorbacks. But Arkansas took advantage of, okay, when we have runners in scoring position, we're going to get them home. That's what they have struggled to do. And they struggled a little bit Friday, Saturday. They didn't on Sunday. They took advantage of, maybe they did a little bit, but they took advantage of what they needed to, unlike Alabama. They got the runs in. And sure, they won the game by 1 run, but it's a sweep. It's a sweep on the road. And again, it's resiliency. It's something, and I'm not saying this team hasn't fought and this team doesn't want to win, because I'm convinced every player that plays any sport, they want to win. Like, you're not going to go out there and be like, just playing baseball again. But I do think there was something that was different in this weekend. I think it helps. I think it helps when you win a couple games. I think the Tuesday night game, winning against Little Rock, a good mid-major team, was helpful. Coming a few days later, winning that big game Friday, that just pushed them into Saturday. They scored 15 runs on Saturday. That's the most runs they've scored, I believe, in SEC play this season. Maybe last season, too. And so they just showed more heart in some of these games. When they got down early, or when they went up and maybe Alabama came back and went back up on them, I think maybe that's what happened Saturday or Friday, I can't remember, but it was a little bit back and forth, and that's baseball. That happens. Previously, Arkansas would have just kind of laid down and been like, well, good game. That was fun. But this team showed fight and showed effort, especially in some big 8th innings that they had. It was huge. It was huge. They showed the resilience that baseball teams have to have. So I know it's been a little rocky, but they're hitting their stride a little bit right now. Just 3 games, but take it with a grain of salt. That's the first big point, was the resiliency. I like that. I like the resiliency I saw from the Razorbacks. The second big thing, those of you who don't know, and I'm still getting into the baseball world as well too, kind of transitioning. So I might sound like an expert, and maybe I am compared to you if you don't ever watch Arkansas baseball. But I'm still figuring it out as well. But I know the lineup just changed, especially this weekend. Pitching rotation was much different. They went with Hunter Dietz, Cole Gibbler, Tate McGuire. Previously, it's been Gabe Gackle, Hunter Dietz, Colin Fisher, I think somewhere around there. That's kind of been the go-to 3 starters all season long, and Tate McGuire maybe as a 4th option. They changed it up in this one, just like they did last year, and was it the year before that too? Gabe Gackle just can't start, and he just can't. And they've tried it for a long time this season, and finally Dave Van Horn was like, let's change things up. And this is what makes Dave Van Horn one of the best college baseball coaches of all time, even though he hasn't won a national championship, is he just changes things up. And they needed a change. This team was just in a slump, just really in a slump. Something needed to change. Sometimes that's how baseball is, whether it's pitching rotation or it's a guy like Carter Rutenbar to bat in the 1 hole. And Carter Rutenbar, quick aside, freshman, listed as a catcher on the roster, but he's played first base, left field, right field. I don't know if he's played any of the infield positions. I'm sure he's played catcher at some point, because that's what he was recruited to do, is be a catcher, and now they've had to move him around just because it's just been a weird season. So hopefully there's a little bit more. Maybe after this week they found that lineup, because they've moved it around a little bit, and this weekend they moved it around more than he ever has, Dave Van Horn. And it worked offensively for the most part, and it worked for pitching. It really did. Hunter Dietz has been that guy this year. He's been one of Arkansas's best pitchers, and he showed that in their Friday night win. And Cole Gibbler has been a really good relief guy. He's never started a game. He's a sophomore. He comes in there, starts his very first game, and has a pretty good outing on Saturday. Not amazing, but a pretty good outing. And then Tate McGuire, I've never been a huge fan of him. He'll pitch you decent 3 innings. But the good thing is they got some good bullpen guys. Parker Coyle, Ethan McIlvain. And then Gabe Gackle coming out of the bullpen doing some good things, some not, still looking shaky at times. Colin Fisher, wishy-washy as well. But the biggest thing is they changed things up, and the change worked. You won games, and that's why it worked. The final big thing is Arkansas good? The question is, people asking, are the Hogs good again? And although I phrased this question to myself to talk about to you guys, I don't think that's a question people necessarily need to be asking. I think the answer is yes, they are good. And it's not again, like they have been good. They just haven't shown it. They've got the talent. They went in the transfer portal and got some playmakers. They just haven't performed this year yet. Some of the guys are starting to perform. TJ Pompey is starting to perform. Arkansas's 3rd baseman that had a couple big home runs on Friday and Saturday night in the 8th inning. I think Texas Tech transfer, if I remember correctly. I think Big 12 guy. They've had guys that have just had slumps this year. Cam Kojal hasn't looked as good as you would have thought he would in SEC play. But they've got a talented team, and they are good. They've got a phenomenal, one of the best pitching staffs in the country. They really do, and I really believe that. They just haven't shown it the past few weeks. Until this weekend, they showed what they can do. And again, on the road, top 10 team, you win all of the games. That's big. That is very rare to happen in the SEC. I understand Alabama isn't a powerhouse of baseball. If this game would have been a win on the road, top 10 against Vanderbilt or Tennessee, even though they're kind of having a down year, or Mississippi State, I'd feel like I'd be jumping over the moon. So I take it with a grain of salt because it is Alabama, but it's an Alabama team that's played really good this season and was really hot before Arkansas really cooled them down. And now Arkansas is hot. we'll talk about them more, what their future looks like for the Razorbacks and their schedule coming up a little bit later. But they're good. And those are my 3 things from Arkansas's series sweep over number 8 Alabama. Now let's hear from head coach Dave Van Horn on what he had to say to the team on Sunday.
Way to sweep the series, boys. Second thing, what a great job by our pitching staff.
Outstanding.
I'm going to make it 3 things. Last thing. Baseball, man, it's life lessons. I mean, you think about what you've gone through to get here. A couple weeks ago, it didn't go our way. A lot of chit-chat. And you guys put your head down and you worked, and we made a few adjustments, and we just won 4 straight this week. What a great week, baby. Let's see if we can carry that into next week, all right?
All right, I love it for the Diamond Hogs. Kind of hitting their stride right now, which is a good thing. But they've got 5 weeks left, 5 opponents. I put on the screen behind me what they have left in SEC play. They've got still some midweek games, UAPB on Tuesday of this week, Missouri State, I think, the next week. They maybe got one more after that. Not that I'm not focused on those, but I just wanted to put up SEC play. Let's just talk SEC baseball. Here's what Arkansas has coming up this weekend. It's a big one, guys. It is a big one. It should be a top 15 matchup at Baum-Walker Stadium. Earlier this year might have been a top 10 matchup, but Arkansas has fallen off a little bit, but maybe they're heading in the right direction. A team that has been pretty dominant all season long, not just like Alabama where they've had a hot streak, is Georgia. And people knew coming into this year that like this Georgia team could be good. They've got the pitching staff now this year that they didn't have last year. They had the bats last year. Now they've got the arms this year, plus the bats. And so they're a scary good team that I'd put some money on them making it to Omaha, even though I don't officially bet. We do have a Let's Bet show, so you should check that out, but it's fake money. Georgia, Oklahoma, Missouri, Kentucky, Ole Miss. Those are the 5 SEC series that the Razorbacks have left. I think on next week's show, I'm going to predict each of these. If I could predict it right now, though, just a quick analysis of it, I think they lose a series against Georgia, but they win 1 game. I think they come back and they win 2 of 3 against Oklahoma, so it's 3 wins. I think they should sweep Missouri because Missouri is always bad at baseball, and I think they are again this year, so that's 6 wins. And then Kentucky, not amazing, but on the road, I'm going to say Arkansas gets upset. So I'm just going to say they win 1 game, so that's 7 wins. And then back home against Ole Miss, I'm going to say they win the series, but they lose the first game or something like that. That's 9. So that's 9. We got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. That's 9 of 15. 9 wins of the 15 games left in the SEC slate. That's good. At that point, will they be a top 8 national seed? No. I think they'll be a top 16 national seed. So they'll get to host the regional, but they wouldn't host a super regional. So there's still time, obviously. There's 5 weeks left to figure all this out. That's just my initial quick reaction. Honestly, didn't even think about predicting this beforehand, and it just popped into my head. That's kind of how things work with this show. But Georgia's a great team. That'll be a tough challenge for the Razorbacks this weekend. Then they got Oklahoma after that, and then back-to-back road series against Missouri and Kentucky, 2 teams that are – I know Missouri's like one of the worst in the SEC. I think Kentucky is not amazing. Although I think maybe they're the ones that fell out of the top 25 earlier this year. So they were okay. But again, on the road could be tough. And then back home against Ole Miss. So we'll see what happens with the Razorbacks going forward. But you got to feel at least a little bit better than you did a week ago. All right, that's baseball. Let's go. Let's talk about softball. Arkansas softball over the weekend taking down Mississippi State, winning the series 2-1. 2 wins on Saturday and Sunday, a loss on Friday. Kind of an uncharacteristic loss. Didn't score a single run. I don't think that has happened all season long. Honestly, don't know what happened. It is kind of funny that the one run that Arkansas did give up, because it was a great effort from Robin Herron on the mound. Not great, good effort from Robin Herron on the mound, and Sailor Timmerman coming in. Only run they gave up was I don't know if it was a pass ball by the Kennedy catcher Miller where it went underneath there and then she couldn't find it, and then the runner scored from third, or if it was a wild pitch from Robin Herron. I'm not sure what it got counted at. But that was how Mississippi State scored their only run on Friday, when it went on to win the game. So that was unfortunate. Lost that one Friday, but came back and looked like themselves on Saturday and Sunday. 8-0 win in 5 innings. Actually, they didn't look like themselves for the first 5 innings until the 5th inning. Arkansas didn't have a single hit. They were being no-hitted by Mississippi State until the 5th inning. They had 8 hits. They didn't have any hits. Had 8 hits in the 5th inning, 8 runs as well, and then they just run rule them. 8-0 the final score, and then they come back Sunday. They start out hot, and then they finish hot with a 10-3 win over the Bulldogs. So that was a good road SEC win. Mississippi State's not amazing, but they are a top 25 team. So we'll take that. We have confidence in the Hogs going forward. And the kind of funny thing, I guess it's just how it is with baseball and softball. Friday night, Arkansas faced Mississippi State's ace pitcher in the circle. Arkansas had 2 hits, didn't have a single run. And then the same girl pitches on Sunday. Arkansas has 9 hits on her, 5 runs. And it's the exact same pitcher, but they figured her out Sunday. So good on them for making adjustments, maybe watching some film on Friday or Saturday to, hey, we got to figure this girl out because we're going to see her again on Sunday. And what do they do on Sunday? They score 10 runs. So well done to that Arkansas offense for being ready for that. Well done to Dakota Kennedy. I mean, she's been a beast all season long, but a beast in this weekend. She batted .714. I think she was 5 for 7 or 8. She just got walked a lot. And when she wasn't walked, she I think she had a dinger. I think she had a couple base hits. She had 5 RBIs. That'll do. This Razorback team has been helped out a lot by their transfers, especially offensively. They're top 3 or 4 of 5 of their lineup as far as batting average. Their best bats have been transfers. Girls who weren't on the team last season: Dakota Kennedy, Brinley Bain, Tiana Bell. And then you have Kaylee Wyckoff, I think, and Kennedy Miller that are kind of after that. But those first 3 I mentioned, all transfers that came via the transfer portal. So that has paid off big time for the Razorback softball team. Pitching was also great this weekend. Robin Heron pitched Friday and Sunday, 8 1/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts. Peyton Burnham was terrific. 7 2/3 innings pitched, no earned runs, 4 strikeouts, only giving up 1 walk. She didn't have a ton of strikeouts, but she didn't give up any runs. That's impressive, especially for Peyton Burnham. Heron is the go-to one. Burnham is kind of her backup if they need her. She'll be starting on Saturdays in a lot of these weekend series that Arkansas has, but she performed at a very high level this weekend. So that is very encouraging to see and very encouraging all around for Arkansas softball. Now the test is what's up next, and we won't talk a ton about what's up next, but they do go on the road to number 2 Oklahoma this upcoming weekend. And of course, Oklahoma is a softball dynasty. So Arkansas, just win 1, right? Just win 1. If you win a series, that's crazy. That'd be awesome. But just win 1 game in Oklahoma, they're Norman, and that would be awesome. But we'll see what happens with that. So that's Arkansas baseball, Arkansas softball. Let's go and look at some other baseball scores from the weekend. You see it here: Little Rock, UCA, and Arkansas State. It's been a while since we've talked about each of these teams individually or had this graphic up. Pretty self-explanatory, but in the green, our team won. In the red, our team did not win. So about 50% or so, I think, from this past weekend. We'll start with Little Rock on the left side of your screen there. Quick recap on them. They've had a good season, 20-16 overall, 8-4 in conference play. Uncharacteristic series loss, I would say, on the road. Went to SIUE. A good win Friday, but coming back Saturday, having a tough loss there, and then a close one Sunday. So these were close matchups. What you would have wanted to see. They were 7-2 heading into this that series against SIUE, and just lost 2 out of the 3. So not great there. UCA, on the other hand, doing better. It's actually better than they were last year, but sitting around the 500 mark, just like they were a few weeks ago. Getting a win 12-6 on Friday, 10-5 on Saturday, and then losing by 1 run on Sunday. And then Arkansas State, man, that conference record is not indicative of how good that team is. I mean, we saw it when they kind of destroyed the Razorbacks earlier this year, but they play a tough conference, and that was very evident this weekend. So shout out to them. Big time upset on Sunday against Coastal Carolina. You see that 1 green, but man, they had some close ones, especially on Saturday where they had chances, but were not able to convert on those chances against a really good Coastal Carolina team. So losing the series there, and then UAPB winning their series, put up 22 runs on day 1, put up 9, but losing on game 2, and then finally, credit to their pitching staff, pitching a shutout on Sunday and getting the win 12-0. And they're now in conference play 7-2. That's the best, highest percentage conference record out of all the Arkansas college D1 baseball teams. So shout out to UAPB and a lot of these teams. Like the baseball brand is strong in the state of Arkansas. All right, let's move on to now my Lutties Legend of the Week. Normally I give it to a star player that's had a great weekend, and there were certainly a lot of those for this past weekend. But I'm actually giving it to a coach. I'm giving it to Arkansas head coach Dave Van Horn. And I'm not trying to hype him up too much because he's already been hyped up. And, of course, he is a legend. He is a legend as an Arkansas coach, as a baseball coach. Hasn't won his national championship, but he's going to. It's going to happen. It's got to happen. You just got to believe. You got to think positively about that, right? Hopefully that happens. It will happen. This weekend, he changed things up. He changed up the starting rotation as far as pitching, the batting order, just did some things differently. And that's tough to do when you're a coach because you think at the start of the year, this is my brand of baseball. This is what I think is the best thing. And if it changes, then it's like, well, was I wrong earlier on the year? And you have to admit that, yeah, I was. Or maybe I didn't think that guy was going to be as bad or as good as he was. So I'm going to switch him out with some other guy. Maybe it'll work. Maybe we just need something different to go on with this team so we can win a series. They lost back-to-back SEC series. It wasn't great. And they go on the road this weekend and they take down a top 10 ranked Alabama team. And they get some big time wins. And now they've got a lot of momentum heading into a really big weekend back at home at Baum-Walker Stadium against the Georgia Bulldogs, a top 5 ranked Georgia Bulldogs team as it stands now. So credit goes to Dave Van Horn, my Lutties Legend of the Week, for just doing something different and leading the Razorbacks to a really good week this past week for the baseball team. All right, well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Lutties Look Back. It's been a fun show as always. We'll be back same time, same place next week to recap everything and more from the weekend of sports. Have a good night.